are some diagrams which directly come from your this NCERT textbook, and they are very important for your board examinations. Right. So in sexual reproduction in flowering plant, before starting that, only angiosperms are those which are perfectly suitable for the sexual reproduction. It takes place in gymnosperms as well. It takes place in pteridophyte as well, right? So when we talk about the sexual reproduction, flowers are basically two types, right? When we talk about the sexual reproduction, flowers are basically two types. I have mentioned over here that, and you keep on jotting down. So what are those flowers? So they may be unisexual or bisexual. So what are the unisexual plant? Unisexual plant are unisexual flower rather than plant. Right now I am talking about the flowers only. We are concerned about the flowers only. So unisexual flowers are those flowers where the male and female flower are different, right? Means male organs, male sex organs are found in male flower and female sex organs are found in female flowers. They may be present in same plant and they may be present in different plant as well. That is quite possible. For sake of example, you must have listened about the maize plant, maize. So generally you eat corn. So where is the male flower? Where is the female flower? Actually, every corn plant you will see at the top of the corn plant there will be means maize plant. At the top of the maize plant there will be a male flower, right? Male flower will be single at the top of the maize plant, and at the side which further become cobs, they are actually female flowers. So the plant is same, but male flower is at top and female flower at the bottom part or at the lower part. That is the arrangement. But the flowers are unisexual because male flower bear only stamen, that is the male sex organ, and female flower that bear the pistil or carpel, that is the female sex organ, right? But when we talk about the papaya plant, in papaya plant, the male plant will bear only male flower and female plant will bear only female flower. So that is quite possible. But these all flowers will be called unisexual because single flower bear only one type of the sex organ. So in unisexual flowers may be on the same plant or they may be present under different plant. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
When we talk about the bisexual plant, bi means both, right? They have both of the sexes. So bisexual plant have both kind of the sex organ in the same flower. Means male and female sex organs are found in the same flower. Means stamen and carpel will be found on the same plant. Generally, majority of the angiosperm they bear the bisexual. Clear? So please jot it down this one. Type of the flowers, right? Please jot down. This kind of the flow chart, I'll keep on telling you this kind of the flow chart, and you have to note it down this kind of the flow chart. First note it down, then we'll go ahead. So, Lina, I have a question. So my question is that what we call this male flower, what we call this female flower? Do we have any exclusive term for male and female flower? Or just we call them flower? Any idea?
I don't know, like if it's purely male or purely female, they are under unisexual. I don't know.
Okay, I'll keep on telling you the questions. It's not just I'm like cross checking. It's just I want to give you some extra information and you have to note it down. So yes, there is a separate term for male and female flowers, right? So the plant, the male flower will be called staminode, right? And the female flower will be called pistillate flower.
What's the spelling?
I'll spell for you. I'll jot it down in fact for here. Look, these male flowers. So male flowers which bear stamen, we call them staminode. Staminode. And the female flower, they are called pistillate. Pistillate flower, right? Staminode flower, if it is written somewhere, staminode flower, then it means it's a unisexual male flower, right? If it is written pistillate flower, it means that is unisexual female flower. Okay, hope you must have read it. So write down what are the flower actually. Flower are nothing but they are the just modification of or transformation of leaves. So generally vegetative leaves, they become or they modify into sexual organs. So one more thing I want to make you clear, that this pistil is also modification of leaf. Stamens are also modification of leaf. Petals and sepals are also modification of leaf. So all those petals, sepals, pistil and stamen, they all are modification of leaf. One more important thing, those organs which are directly involved in reproduction, they are called primary reproductive organs, right? So they are primary reproductive organs which are directly involved in reproduction. And those plant or those part which are indirectly involved in reproduction, they are called accessory reproductive organ. For sake of example, when we talk about the primary sex organ, they are basically carpel and stamen. Carpel and stamens are directly involved in reproduction, so we call them primary sex organ. But sepals and petals, they are required for reproduction. They help in reproduction. That's why they are called accessory reproductive organ. For example, petals are responsible for pollination. They attract insect, being bright colored. So they are accessory reproductive organ. At the same time, what sepals do, when these sex organ remains at the bud stage, sepals protect them. So they are called accessory reproductive organ, right? So first, please write it down. What are the flowers? What flowers are actually? So please write it down. Flower is specialized reproductive part flower is specialized reproductive part of shoot full stop. It help in sexual reproduction. It help in sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Next point. Anther and pistil or anther and ovary. Anther and ovary directly involved in anther and ovary directly involved in reproduction, hence called reproduction, hence called primary reproductive organ. Full stop. Sepals and petals indirectly, sepals and petals indirectly help in reproduction. Sepals and petals indirectly help in reproduction. That's why they are called accessory reproductive organ. I have written over here accessory reproductive organ. So primary reproductive organ and accessory reproductive organ. Fine. Now this is the diagram of and ideal diagram of ideal diagram of an angiospermic flower. So look, the base point where all the sexual organs are placed, that is called receptacle. Receptacle is also known as thalamus, right? You can take the screenshot and please draw this diagram after this class. Look, so this is the receptacle where all the reproductive part are placed. Receptacle is also known as thalamus. On the thalamus, these small green color leaflet, they protect the flower at the bud stage. They are called sepals, right? Sometimes they they persistent in the fruit level as well. In brinjal, you can see there are green color of the leaf slivy structure. That is actually sepals, right? Then these blue color part, they are called petals. Petals, they are brightly in color. They help in pollination. So they attract the plant. They attract the animals like insect during the pollination. Now come to the fourth part, the third part. Third part is this is stamen. One more thing I want to make highlight. Please keep it mind over here. These stamens are also known as androsium. You must have read it out in class 11. So these stamen, they are called androsium, right? Stamen have two parts. This upper globular part is called anther, and this filament-like part is called filament, right? This lower part is called filament and anther. So basically, stamen or androsium, which is male reproductive organ, they are made up of two things: upper anther and lower filament part. Then it comes to the carpel. Carpel is just female reproductive organ. Technically, carpel is also known as gynosium. So technically, stamen is called androsium, or male part is called androsium, and carpel or female part is called gynosium, right? Carpel have three parts: stigma, style, and ovary, right? This upper part is a stigma, middle part this is called style, lower part called ovary. Ovary basically, when it mature, after the reproduction, ovary convert into fruit, right? Whatever you eat in the form of fruit, they are basically, most of them are ovary, right? Inside the ovary, there are some structures, they are called ovules. So these ovules become seed, right? In future, they become seed, right? So when you eat a pea pod, right? You must have eaten that used in vegetable. So you eat pea. So the outer part, which is cover of the pea, that is basically ovary wall, right? Inside the pea, which are small pea seeds, they are basically what? Ovules, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this was something about the reproductive part of the flower. Then in the lower part, look, now the sexual reproduction, there are two sexual part. So reproductive part, please, you have to note it down, this one, which I have drawn over here, this one, look. So this one. So sexual reproductive part are two. So I have written over here, the male part, that is called stamen, female part, that is called carpel. So male part stamen is called androsium. Androsium have been divided in two parts. This upper part is anther, lower part is filament. Then the female part is called carpel. Carpel is also known as gynosium. Technically, it is called gynosium. Gynosium is divided in three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. What happened? Inside the anther, formation of pollen grain takes place. These pollen grain, after the rupture, when dehiscence takes place, means rupturing of anther takes place, anther rupture, then pollen grain come out in the air. These pollen reaches to the ovary, and inside ovary to ovule, and after that reproduction takes place. That's how the reproduction takes place, right? Please draw this flow chart. Reproductive organ. Reproductive organ of Please let me know when you note it down.
Done, sir.
One more thing, Lina, I want to make you aware that whenever if you want to have you want to get good marks in your board examination. So we have tried this phenomena like number of the times, and every year, many of the students, they get 100 out of 100 in biology, like in our institute. So what we suggest, whenever you have to write down a question, right? When you have to write down an answer, right? So after writing down the definition, always use the flow chart. Whenever you use flow chart and diagram in biology examination, you always get good marks. Either it's 12th class or is graduation exam or post graduation exam, irrespective of exam. Whenever you draw the flow chart in biology, you definitely get very good marks, right? So always use this flow chart, right? Okay, so this was in page number, it has been already given in page number 20 in NCERT. Then come to page number 21. So now we will start in sexual reproduction in flowering plant. We start the discussion from the development of the pollen grain. How does the pollen grain development takes place, right? So before going into that, look, what we call stamen actually. So stamen is also known as microsporophyll. Can you tell me what are the microsporophyll, Lina? Have you studied it, microsporophyll? Have you heard this term?
Yeah. I think they like microsporophylls. They are like, I think, are they like the mother cells? They produce the pollen grain or something.
Look, let me recall you. You must have studied in pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Class 11, plant kingdom. Isn't that? Look.
They produce spores or something.
Right. They used to produce spore, a special kind of the leaves which bear sporangia, and then rupture, then produces spores. Right. So
yeah,
that was in the case of pteridophyte. Then what happened? More advanced plant came on the earth. Gymnosperm. In gymnosperm, sporophyll leaves collected in a bunch-like structure, and we call them cone. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Male cone used to bear, male sporophyll means microsporangia, microsporophyll, and female cone used to bear megasporophyll. Right. You got it. Right. Then further advancement taken place. After the gymnosperm, the most advanced, most modern kind of the plant came on the earth. And they were actually what? Angiosperms. When angiosperm came, microsporophyll converted into stamen and megasporophyll converted into pistil. Got it?
Yes.
Actually, these kind of the question come in medical examination. When you are you planning to go for a medical examination? Do you want to attend that in future after 12th class?
I'm really not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So, okay. So look, stamens are basically microsporophyll. You can compare them microsporophyll. Then they are a special modification of leaves for reproductive purpose, right? Further, what I did, I have shown it's a diagram of stamen. The lower part is known as filament, and this upper part is called anther. Inside anther, there will be these kind of the pollen grain. So these pollens are so what anther is called? Look, now the pollen sac or anther is known as microsporangium, right? And pollen grain, we can compare this pollen grain with microspore, right? Okay. So this is the diagram. This is the diagram of anther. At the time of maturity, dehiscence takes place. So there is a term, line of dehiscence. Dehiscence means basically rupturing, right? Line of dehiscence means the rupturing takes place with the help of a line, right? So this is the line out. So when anther mature, what happens? They rupture and formation of line of dehiscence. Rather than rupturing, we use a technical term that is called dehiscence, right? At the maturity of anther rupture and we call it dehiscence. Means dehiscence takes place. When dehiscence takes place, then these pollen grain spread in atmosphere with the help of air, right? Now, Lina, in your NCRT, this diagram have been given in the page number 22. Mark it, very important, because this diagram has been asked multiple times in your board exams, multiple times. So, are you using any help book for your medical exam? For your this one board examination? Do you refer, or your schools have referred any help book?
Usually our teachers sends questions from reference books, so we use those. Like, I don't use one personally, just that our teacher gives us extra questions.
Okay, okay. So look, Lina, I want to tell you that there is a book that is called Exam Idea. You must have listened to that, Exam Idea.
Yeah, my school teacher also recommended it.
Right, Exam Idea is the best one. You will get number of the publications. There are different publications and different books, and different school recommend different. But for board examination, this is not for medical, but board examination, Exam Idea is the best one. And you will see this question have been draw the well-labeled diagram of transverse section of anther, right? Or draw the well-labeled diagram of different layer of the anther. This question, 3-marker question, diagram-based question, have been asked multiple times. I will keep on telling you that those diagrams which have been asked in multiple times. So make it important over here, and you have to draw it. So I'll explain this diagram, then I'll sum up today's demo class, and then we'll continue in regular class, right? Look, this is a transverse section of anther. So this is anther, this lower part is stamen. So we have cut it like this way. We have cut it like this way. This is transversely we have cut. So this is called TS, transverse section. When you see a TS, then there will be different layer. At the middle of the anther, look. So you will find at the middle of the anther, there is a line that is called connective. This one. This is called connective. What is connective? Connective is that part with the help of connective filament, this filament, right? This filament attaches and it supply the nutrition to developing pollen grains. Now, at all the 4 corners of this anther, there will be sporogenous tissues. There will be circular part of sporogenous tissue, right? Now, when we see the transverse section, the layers, different layers which make the anther, the outer layer is called epidermis. So epidermis is made up of just one layer thick, right? And what is its function? Basically, the function of epidermis is protection. It protects the developing reproductive parts. Next, the second layer, it is also one cell thick, that is called endothecium. Endothecium, what is the function of endothecium? Generally, it helps in protection, and at the time of dehiscence, when anther rupture, they also help in rupturing of anther, right? Anther rupture. Then after the endothecium, there will be 2 to 3 cell thick middle layers. So middle layers will be 2 to cell thick, and their function is just protection. Inside the middle layer, there is 4th layer. So I have written this is the 4th number. I have pointed out marked the 4 as a 4th. This 4th one is called tapetum. So first one was this was epidermis, right? Second one was endothecium. This was one cell thick. This one, and then the third one was middle layer, and the 4th one is tapetum. What is the function of tapetum? Tapetum actually provide the nutrition, right? We will discuss in next class tapetum in detail, right? This tapetum, they provide nutrition. To whom they provide nutrition? They provide nutrition to these developing pollen grains. So where the pollen grain develop, actually inside the tapetum, you can see there are microspore mother cell. These microspore mother cell will further divide. They get separated from each other, and they become something spherical shape. They take something spherical shape, and when they develop when the development of pollen grain takes place from microspore mother cell, they require nutrition. So what happened? This tapetum die, it rupture, it die, it is consumed, and it provide nutrition to developing pollen grain. That's how the microspore mother cell develop into pollen grain, and nutrition is provided by tapetum. So basically, you get 2-marker question in your board examination that will come from the tapetum. write down the function of tapetum or write down the different type of the tapetum. That will be the question in board examination, right? So I'll explain this question in next year, next class. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So please take the screenshot, and I hope that you will draw this diagram, and whatever I have written in front of the diagram, you have to draw the same things. You have to like jot down these functions, like epidermis, so one cell thick, function protection. Endothecium, one cell thick, function dehiscence, means spore dispersion. Middle layer, protection. Tapetum, nutrition providing, right? And microspore mother cell provide pollen grain or develop into pollen grain. Clear, Lina?
Yes, sir.
So did you got all the points what we discussed today?
Yes, sir, including the flowcharts.
Okay. So take the screenshot of this one. And in next class, what you have to do, read out the NCERT till page number 22, right? And then join the regular class. So if you have any query, you can ask me. Because this was just make you understand how we will teach you and what will be the method.
Will it be one-on-one or will it be like group of students for the regular classes?
Actually, the team decide both, like management decided that the class, there are some 101 and there are some, there are 4, like batches are very small, like the maximum there are 4 or 5 students in single batch, right? Not more than that. So very small size batches. So we are right now we are teaching with the there are some students which take 101, but basically they belongs to the out of India, which take 101, and most of the students which are from our country, so they are 4 or 5 in a batch, and they feel comfortable in 4 or 5. So both of the methods are available. It depends what you want to opt. And for this one, like 101 or in group, you have to discuss with the this one, like our team management, right? So what do you prefer, Lena?
For me, anything is fine.
Okay. So you can discuss. We are comfortable with both of the manner, right? And even in 4 or 5 students, hardly anybody asks any questions in online. Offline, student ask number of the questions, but in in online, I get bored because student hardly ask any question in online classes. Offline classes, we feel very pleasant.
Yeah, offline
Very
is better.
So because the student asked number of the question out of like within the subject, out of the subject, they keep on asking me. So I feel energetic. But in online, what happens? They switch off the camera, they switch off the mic. They hardly ask any question. I get bored. In fact, I get bored. So I expect please keep on asking questions, doubts.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Will it be possible to change the timing? Because when school starts, I'll be back home around.
Timing will be changed, right? Yeah. Actually, right now what the batch I am running, that is from the 6:30 onward. So I am taking the biology class in a batch. Just we have started. I have taken 3 classes, and there are 2 students in that batch. Just 2 students, 2 or 3, right? So why I say 2 or 3, because one of them like have joined only 2 classes. So there are 2 or 3 students, and the timing is 6:30. And I'm teaching biology in that batch 6:30 Tuesday and Thursday, right? So
6:30 India's time or
India's time. So what is your country? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you.
It's Dubai, so it will be 1.5 hours before.
Right, 1.5 hours before.
5 o'clock, I think.
Right, 5 o'clock as per your time.
Okay.
Yeah, timing can be changed. That you have to discuss with the team. They will manage everything, right? You have to tell them query regarding the timing, regarding the 101 or in a group, right? So and the timing can be changed. That is not an issue. When we take the classes of Middle East like Dubai, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, and all that, so students generally they take classes from some of them 7:30. Some batches we start with a 6:30 to 5:30 to 7, then 7 p.m. onwards. Some of them they join at the 9 p.m. Depends. So timing, there is no issue. We are flexible with that. You can discuss with the team, right?
Okay.
Any more
Right.
query?
No, I don't think so.
So
Thank you.
welcome. Did you got all the points crystal clear which we discussed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my pace is okay.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Right. So in case if you will feel any problem anywhere, then you can discuss with me, right? Without any hesitation. Fine.
Sir, even for like other chapters, maybe like few doubts here and there, would it be okay?
No issue. No issue. No issue. That's what I'm saying. Suppose that we'll start the syllabus one by one, because first will always come first, right? So, but in the meantime, suppose that we cover 2 chapters, and you have tomorrow or day after tomorrow you have exam, and the question papers are coming from the that was molecular genetics. So then what you have to do, you have to call to our team, and you have to take time, some extra time other than this class timing. You have to take other time, and I'll explain all the concept, all the queries. No issue. So we'll help that. So that is not right.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.